This is the new SEAT Arona.
And yeah, it's been updated for 2026. Priced from £23,105 in SE trim and rising to over £28,000 in top FR trim, the Arona remains a rival to the likes of Ford's sporty Puma and Citroen's space-stretching C3 Aircross. But it promises a unique blend of style and practicality to suit small family life. So in this video, we're going to see if some small but important updates can keep the Arona competitive, starting with its design changes.
Now, just like the Ibiza, the Arona looks quite familiar, especially if you know the previous gen car, but there are some subtle changes, including slightly sharper headlights with these cool pointed day running lights. They give the car more attitude, and there's a very sporty and quite open front grille. At the rear, the changes are even more subtle, so much so that you actually have to turn the lights on to see the new, slightly sharper lighting inside. And also, if you look down here, you'll spot there's more black plastic. It's more muscular, but this is a crime. There are now fake exhaust pipes down there, so it's sportier, but you definitely don't have a sportier engine.
Maybe I'm being a bit cruel because, while yes, the Arona's two 1-litre turbocharged engines are unashamedly eco-focused, there is a 150 horsepower producing 1.5 turbo motor for the FR models, and it even comes with a 7-speed automatic instead of a manual as standard. But those hoping for a hybrid option will have to wait until 2027, when a mild hybrid engine is added to the lineup to boost efficiency. Although to be fair, the Arona isn't exactly going to be expensive to run in any trim. Even that punchy 1.5 promises 49 miles per gallon combined.
Now, if you're expecting a bigger transformation inside, well, you might be disappointed. But let me explain why the simplicity and a lot of the carried over stuff in this car are a good thing. Now, firstly, as we know in the categories like from entry level right up to the expensive stuff these days, everyone's putting everything in the touchscreen, but this car has buttons like the old school stuff. And that's really good because it means it's easy to control stuff on the go. And look, you even get manual climate control knobs, which I will be testing on the move in a mo. But yeah, you do get some tech as well. Now, an old Cupra design that I had in an old SEAT Ibiza Cupra from years ago, well, they've carried that on to this day, but it's in a digital screen. But it means that screen is customizable, so you can have your maps on there, or you can just leave it as your dials if you want. And same is true actually for this. It's very simple, and it does feel very familiar if you know other Volkswagen Group cars, but the simplicity is all that matters in this. You still get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it's just really easy to navigate through the menus. Plus, it's got smartphone-like reactivity-ish, so it's pretty good. It's more than capable of handling everyday needs.
No less important in making this Arona feel fresh for 2026 is a general lift in cabin material quality. With perforated leather now on the steering wheel and softer touch plastics on the dash, but best of all, the Arona's supportive seats are now joined by cushioned armrests on the door, to go with those in the middle. So the front feels the same, but just nicer.
Now, it's even more the same in the back because ultimately nothing has changed. And that's not a bad thing because this is a small-ish car. You know, it's a rival to the Ford Puma. But look, I've got plenty of space for my feet and my knees, loads of headroom. And while there's a tunnel in the floor down there, so my feet in the middle seat have to straddle it, there's still tons of headroom. So as a 4-seater, this is very comfortable. And as a 5-seater, if you've got smaller kids, it will be okay. And yes, you've still got your ISOFIX points on the outer chairs as well. So come on, this is usable. It's basically a hatchback on stilts. Although cruelly, they haven't put the cushioning that we get in the front on the armrest here, so you might get sore elbows. And with no hybrid tech or any electric gizmos in this car, it means you haven't got any batteries in a boot's floor. In fact, while yes, it is a flat floor initially, which is going to be handy for dogs to jump into, look how much you can lower it. Look, it goes right down there. So it means you've got a deep floor. Yes, you don't have the Puma's box floor, which goes really, really deep, but come on, usability in this is very good. And in Spain, at least, look, you get a spare wheel.
Now, if you want to nav yourself a brand new Arona, head to marshall.co.uk to configure your perfect car. Or why not pop into a Marshall store? Search Marshall SEAT to find your nearest one. Oh, and don't forget, you can also find a used car via the Cinch app, which can be downloaded for free using the QR code on screen. Right, now it's time to drive the Arona, and I must say, right off the bat, I quite like the way the car's retention of some physical buttons means getting going and using features like cruise control is refreshingly simple.
And best of all, the climate control, well look, I can look at the car ahead, I can even start swerving and make a temperature adjustment. I know I've increased the temperature and I haven't looked at the dial down there. Oh my God, we had it so much better before everything went in the touchscreens. But this doesn't feel old-fashioned in the way it goes down a road. Sure, with only up to 115 horsepower, this 1 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged engine is just about nippy enough to deal with the demands of a normal life, whether that's town and motorway as well. It's perfectly fine, and with a 7-speed automatic, it can relax on the motorway. But what's most impressive is that it doesn't have any hybridization, and yet there isn't really any turbo lag. There's a little bit, but it picks up nice and quickly, and it just feels perfectly smooth and quite refined as well. And that is also true for road noise and wind noise as well. It doesn't feel old-fashioned and old school in all the bad senses. I'm talking about the good stuff. Ooh. Punchy, and sounds like a half 6-cylinder engine. It's got a bit of a gruff, quite nice note.
Both versions of the 1 litre engined Arona are definitely sensible options, but if you want a bit more spice in your drive, then the 1.5 litre car is worth considering, because it can give even the hot Puma ST a run for its money in the straight line performance sense. Although I have to admit, no version of SEAT's crossover is as interested in being sporty through the bends as the Ford. The Arona is stable and grippy, yes, but it's also more interested in being easy to drive than quick.
And the ride's pretty good too. You can really tell that this is a small car with enough tyre to be nice and squishy, even over speed bumps and Ibizan potholes, of which there are not that many, but I can confirm I have hunted for them and it rides pretty well. Sure, not having hybrid power means these aren't the most fuel efficient powertrains out there. In fact, I've been averaging about 37 miles per gallon, which for a mixed drive, including some low speed town stuff, is pretty good. But yeah, nowadays mild hybrid equivalents and of course fully hybrid equivalents will add at least 5 and probably more like 10 miles per gallon to that. So it's something to factor in.
But as one of the most affordable cars to buy and also insure in this class, the revamped Arona still feels like great value for money in 2026. Whether you're thinking of upgrading from a hatchback or whether you need more space for young kids, there really is a lot to like in this Arona. Much more than just some very ergonomic interior buttons, even if those are my favourite thing. But if you're still not sure whether this SEAT's the car for you, I'd suggest you get watching my Citroën C3 Aircross video from last year to see how it manages to squeeze an extra 2 seats into a similarly sized crossover base.